Okay, hi. Welcome everyone to our podcast once again, The African Data Scientist, where we get to tell the story of the African data science and AI potential. This is the eighth episode of our Insights in AI and Data Science program. And of course, you can revisit the seventh edition where we had a conversation with Evangelist Michael last week. So this week we're going to be having a conversation with another amazing person in the AI and data science space in Africa, and that's Jeremiah Fadugba. He's a teaching assistant at the African Masters of Intelligence program, I think, AMII. That's of course the master's program for people in machine intelligence located at Rwanda. And I'm so glad he's joining us here today. Let's get right onto the show. So, Jerry, please can you introduce yourself to the audience?
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Jeremiah Fadugba, and I'm currently a teaching assistant at the African Masters in Machine Intelligence. This year, they have another center here in Ghana, so I'm currently based in
Mm.
Ghana as a teaching assistant. And I've worked in machine learning and data science for about 3 years now. And yeah, it's amazing. So it has its challenges, but yeah, future is bright.
Awesome, awesome. That's amazing. Well, what are your responsibilities as a teaching assistant at AMII?
Okay, as a teaching assistant, I mean, you get to have uh, like chances to assist some of the lecturers coming
Mm.
to teach.
Okay.
You also get to prepare assignment, you get to prepare some lab sessions, you get to prepare practical sessions, and you get to assist the students in some concepts where uh, they probably need more explanation. Lecturers might not have the whole full time to be explaining things. So right, so the teaching assistants are there just to assist with the lecturers and also to assist the students.
Oh, awesome, perfect. That sounds like a very good role to definitely have, and that's an awesome one. So, boy, just going through to your personal life and your personal journey now in the space of AI and machine learning. So, what did you want to be when you went to the university? College, university, and Did you have this in mind that you wanted to study AI and data science
Uh,
and everything, or you wanted to study another thing, and what did you end up studying? What was that like
uh,
for you?
Definitely not. So finishing high school or secondary school,
Yeah.
uh, I mean the plan was to actually go into pharmacy in the end,
Yeah.
right? So, but upon reflection, I was actually, maybe say, fair enough, good in maths, at least, and so I actually went. So I wanted to do computer science, but then at my time we were doing something like all this cutoff. You have some points.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I decided to just so when I calculated my points based on my work and everything, I think it was really good for maths. And yeah, I thought about it. I said, yeah, let's go for maths. So started with maths and never, though I had this little thoughts of leaving maths and going to computer science, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I stayed, and I mean, it was actually good. It gave me a very good solid background. So I studied maths in University of Ibadan for I mean, of course, for 4 years. And
Yeah.
but the good thing on why I switched to the engineering side, like computer science, was when I went for, this is your 6 months compulsory internship
Internship.
that you
Yeah.
do at the third year.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I did it with one amazing person, and I put my eyes to a lot of to things in computer science. So yeah, and after that, I just switched to data science.
No, that's a fascinating move. Definitely a solid background in mathematics because, of course, most of machine learning is about math
Math,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah, which is quite awesome. But how? Okay, so that's. I think you've kind of answered our question of how the mathematics you've studied has kind of impacted your role in the field today. Was there any other thing that you feel impacted how you currently work today in your current field of AI and data science?
Oh, okay, yeah. So Okay, so one of the things, in maths, when you're doing like graduate studies in maths, especially
Yeah,
from Nigeria, it's almost like there is this kind of notion that those doing all the single courses, you're doing physics, you're doing math,
yeah,
you end up being a lecturer or something like that,
teaching,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. And so one of the things that has just helped me, like apart from the maths background, right? It's another thing is more about the let me say the community,
mm.
right? It
Yeah,
actually has a very great impact. Also, um, another factor was more about the problems around, right?
yeah,
It's actually one of the things that keeps keeps me in check, right? Because I know there are a lot of issues and stuffs, and I mean, so the problems, looking at the problems, analyzing the problems, you get to see why this would be a very great big deal in the future, right? So,
mm.
so it's one of the things that is still making me to stay in machine learning, I guess.
Okay, awesome, awesome, perfect, perfect. Well, generally, I think this is more, of course, still your career related. What really made you interested, and what really made you keen on, AI and data science? Was there like a spark in your moment? Of course, maybe away from
Ah,
your internship. Was there like any spark, or it was just a series of moments that got you really invested in AI field as a field, and deep
okay,
learning,
yeah.
machine
So,
learning?
yeah, you're right. So I would I call it the spark? But okay, so one of the things that actually affected me was so as I was discussing about my journey, right? I had this I had this chance to travel to Vietnam. So I was in Vietnam for a master's program in software engineering,
Yeah,
right? And so then I was actually more focused relating. My focus was more on project software project management, basically, and data analysis. So, but interacting with the communities over there, and I begin to see some weird technologies. Weird in quotes, right? At that time, it was weird to me because I was like,
yeah,
what are these people? Like they say they just do some coding and they do some lot of stuff. I mean, it was really weird to me,
yeah,
honestly. So, but over time, I began to understand this technology. That, oh shit, this is actually what I've been like. Basically, some of the things I've been doing, even in my like the things. So I did courses on data mining, text mining, and stuff like
yeah,
that. But I think they just took it a step further, right? And it made me to realize that, oh, yeah, this is actually what I've been doing. Conferences, which I would actually advise a lot of people to actually conferences and industry shows and all that, because they give you things that is coming in next few years, right? So
yeah.
this is all. I was actually in one conference and I saw some young guys like me. They are actually students from a different university, and they did something related to self-driving cars. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I mean, so until I begin to have discussions with them, and I discover, oh, this is AI, this is stuff and that. I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. So I begin to study, do some courses, and yeah, and that was, I think that was it. That was it. It was actually due to the environment I was
that's
that made it.
that's awesome, and it's actually very true. Actually, attending conferences will definitely open your eyes to a lot of things that you
Yeah,
otherwise won't know as a sitting
exactly.
practitioner, which makes a lot of sense. So, but there's this usual questions we ask our guests when they come on our show, and it just goes like this. So, pretend I'm not a tech person or a data scientist. Can you explain what data science, machine learning means in simple terms, and how it aids problem solving?
Okay. Well, so I want to assume a non-tech person understand what data is in the first place.
Okay.
So I think I will these like it's data science data, right? It's about getting insights into your data, right? Using advanced technologies. That would be kind of like short summary of what.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. 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 You were saying.
So I was saying, so data science is I would say it as a sort of like getting information out of data,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Using advanced technologies.
Advanced technologies. Oh, that's
Yeah.
simple and apt compared to some of the other definitions we've had over.
Oh, you
Yeah,
said you said to a non-tech person, so
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's so fine for our use cases. So, what is one thing that is clear about data science and machine learning to you that you think it's not so with other person, with other people, whether they are engineers or non-engineers alike?
oh, uh, would you mind explaining further?
Okay. So, for example, you probably know something that you see often in the industry or in academia that you think is clear to you, but it's hard for engineers or researchers or non-researchers to grasp. But what's that one thing you commonly see?
Hmm. That's a tough one. um, I don't know. I think so. One of the cool things with data science, right, at least now, is that it's sort of like everything is kind of like open, right? And you get to know a lot of things from a lot of
Yeah,
people. So
yeah.
it's really hard to say if some people are not aware of this. I would generally say that maybe one of the most the I think the key thing here is the fundamental knowledge, right?
Okay, okay,
So because a lot of tools has actually taken all those things and put them in a kind of like abstract way, so you don't really need to care about it. But people that are actually, let me say, people that are like uh, let me use the words let me use the words pioneers in data science, right? Those that have really doing data science for decades. They actually understand all these mathematical tools, all these equations, all these statistics and all that. Like, so those are like kind of most right now a lot of tools have actually, put out everything in kind of like abstract way, and it's yeah, I think so. I think that's it. I think it's the fundamental knowledge.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And fundamental knowledge is definitely something worthwhile and what people should take into consideration. Yeah. So for the next question, we talked about problem solving. How do you think these technologies aid problem solving?
Hmm. Yes. Okay. So we have there are there are a lot of challenges, right? There are a lot of issues that needs to be solved, right? So like tool that you can use, right? There are various ways you could solve a problem, or right, but technology has just helped to make something iterable, something that you could improve on, right? So I think the technology serves as a kind of like um, a quick fix to something. That's in
Okay.
my opinion, though. Yeah. So it really helps a lot to solve a lot of issues, especially within our society, within Africa as a context, for instance. Technology can actually help in a lot of sectors.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so I think it makes things much more easier.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Okay. So at this point, I think you can take a break. Maybe if you want to get water or something, if that's it. Or
Yeah, yeah.
do you think you can move on?
Yeah, we can move on. It's fine.
Oh, okay, okay, awesome. Yeah, so I would have told you to get water beforehand. Sorry, that was my bad. Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay,
okay.
awesome. So, having worked with, I probably think you. Did you spend? Have you spent any of your time in the industry? Maybe I probably didn't see any background like that, or it's just been about the academia for you.
I spent a couple of time in the industry actually.
Oh, okay, awesome. So, Paul,
Yeah.
okay,
Uh,
okay, okay,
yeah. So I mean, while I was still in Vietnam, I did some. I had a job as a machine learning engineer in industry in Vietnam for a while. I consulted with some companies in Nigeria, and yeah. So right now I'm just like working. So currently I'm sort of like in between academia and industry.
And the industry. Okay, so I probably guess you must have worked with small, large, or small and large, or small or large companies. So how would you advise a small company to adopt an AI strategy or a data strategy? And what do you think they will need to be successful at AI and data science or implementing
Hmm.
those for their businesses or their use cases?
Small companies trying to adopt AI. I
Yeah.
think that the, the the thing you should actually they should figure out first is, do you really need AI?
Okay. Mm.
Yeah. Of course, I'm an AI person, but I think
Yeah.
it's a very important question.
Yeah.
See, okay, I know AI is like a buzzword right now,
Yeah.
machine learning
Very
and
true. Very
data
true.
science, but you need to ask yourself, you need to like sit down either with a board or and actually ask yourself if you really need if such companies actually needs AI right now,
Mm.
right? I mean, of course, if you have a large data, then you can start thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if not, then I think you should actually prepare on how to build your data strategy, right? So uh, it's wise for every company to look at. It's wise, I would say, for every company to look at how to apply data science and machine learning in their day-to-day activities. It's wise,
Yeah.
but I think before just jumping into it and doing that, you should actually sit down and know if you really have the necessary tools and resources to actually do that,
Mm.
or if
Awesome.
it's really the right strategy right now. So yeah, I think that would definitely be my advice.
Mm.
Like,
Awesome.
to
So,
sit down first before
yeah. So
deciding.
think about what's on ground, and if it's not enough
Yeah,
for AI, then plan for it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So that's pretty awesome. So, well, back to your own personal journey. When you were
Mm.
starting out, I think this would be a very good question for beginners. When you were starting out in this field, what kind of challenges did you face, and how did you find ways to overcome these challenges you faced while starting out?
Okay, so mine when starting out, one of the challenges I faced was my environment, I will say,
Mm.
right? Because as I said earlier on, I started in Vietnam, and there was a language barrier for me, right? So right now we have AI Saturdays, we have Data Science Nigeria, you have Protocol School of AI, you have this School of AI. I mean, I really wish people actually understand the advantage of all these things, right? Those people that actually started earlier, there were not things like this, right? So sometimes you really have to go study on your own. The tools you use are very, very complicated. Right? So those are actually like the core challenges that I was personally facing, right?
Yeah.
It was difficult for me to actually understand the lots of all these concepts. And also I didn't have a very good CS background, so I might not be
Okay.
that I was
Hmm.
not strong in coding, so it was a bit of a challenge. I mean, I think I started doing machine learning with Octave,
Oh wow.
with, yeah, with Octave and MATLAB
Okay.
before I switched to Python when I saw Python. I was like, oh, Python was a rage then. So yeah, so I think those were the kind of my own challenges then, and but I think right now a lot of all these challenges have been taken away. You have initiatives like this that we could gather people and discuss about machine learning. I think
Yeah.
it's actually good though. Mm.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think you probably must have your a pretty good very good ML engineer yourself, and you must have worked with a lot of other awesome ML engineers. What do you think are the most important qualities, for someone to become a very good ML engineer or a data scientist?
Hmm. So for an ML engineer, I think one of the quality I would see is well, so yeah, I would say it's actually good to have this very good engineering skills,
Mm, okay.
right?
Mm,
It's like, I mean, because you will see some engineers that will be like, wow, really? Can you really do this with machine learning? And you'll see some other ones will be like, this is not, this is bad, right?
yeah.
So one of the qualities I've seen is that people with strong software engineering skills actually tends to do amazing things in this at least in the space of machine learning engineering, bringing
Mm,
things to product. Those with
yeah.
strong software engineering. So I think that's a very important skill if you could get.
Awesome.
Yeah, under the data science side, I think just being inquisitive, yeah, I think is one of the key things because you want to, you, I think there is this kind of statement you say that you beat your data well and it starts giving you information.
Yeah, torture
So I think,
data.
yeah, I touch your data.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, it's one of the reasons, was one of the key things that really separates data scientists, right? How inquisitive are you to get information from the data you have?
All right, impressive. That's a really good one. Software engineering definitely worth it, and
Yeah.
ability to be inquisitive for data scientists. Also, so back to how developing countries like African countries like Nigeria, Rwanda, Kenya, and so on. But how do you think ML, machine learning in itself, can best improve these countries? You're talking about developing countries in Africa in general, and how do you think these countries can leverage the technology? What's your thoughts on that? How can this amazing technology improve whatever we are doing?
Oh, yeah. All right. So I think first, yeah, it's no doubt technology can definitely help the economy of a country,
Yeah,
especially developing country.
yeah,
That's for sure. But one thing I've seen over for a while now is like it's not gonna be the only thing, right? You need technology will definitely, that's for sure, that's certain. But I think I might just pointed out that sometimes it's like we should not use technology as sort of like the how do I call it, like the de facto solution to
yeah,
Africa's problem, right?
yeah,
But if we get that aside, that we understand that okay, there's a lot of policies that need to be put in place, and then there's a lot of investment that need to be put in place. I think technology will definitely help Africa. And in relating to machine learning, uh, there are a lot of things, of course, that machine learning could help. I mean, especially I'm looking towards field in agriculture, field in medicine, right?
medicine. Yeah,
Yeah, so especially in health, a lot of technologies can help do a lot of things. That is for sure. Is it in medical imaging, which I'm very much interested in? Um, Even in fintech, fraud detections, loans approval. Machine learning do a lot of stuff, and people are actually doing this. Even in the agriculture space, I know a lot of companies in South Africa, in Rwanda, even in Nigeria that could actually leverage technologies like machine learning to help and improve their processes. So yeah, machine learning can definitely help, but I would say it's the only solution, but
solution.
it's one of the tools that you could actually use to
Mm.
do amazing things.
Yeah, technology is definitely man's best helper, and not there
Yeah.
to replace the common sense and intelligence. All right. So,
Yeah.
what for you on a more personal level? What are you excited about the future of machine learning and AI? What excites you about the future of these
Hmm.
fields?
Learning from unlabeled data. That's what excites me actually.
So, are you talking about supervised, unsupervised learning, or self-supervised learning? Which is it?
Self-supervised learning. So
Mm,
so there are actually a lot of things that is quite interesting to me right now, and
okay.
which I believe could actually help in in cases like Nigeria, right? So one of the, of course, we know that it's very expensive to gather data and then label them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, but is it possible for you to leverage machine learning tools to be able to like understand data that is not labeled? I mean, if we could just focus now on getting the data, right, then we could actually use technologies like self-supervised learning or unsupervised learning to actually provide more information about the data or
Mm,
use it in some amazing ways, right? So that's one. Another aspect that interests me also is the multimodal learning,
okay.
which means how can you combine uh, how can you leverage data from different modes, like either images and text or audio signals and vision. I mean, all these different modalities of data,
Mm,
which of course is would be very, very good in the future. That one is for sure. I think I, yeah. So those are the two things that interest me right now: learning from unlabeled data and learning from multiple modalities.
Multiple modalities. I think that second part will probably not be clear to the majority of the
Okay,
listeners. So you can maybe list you can link to a paper or some sort in the show notes after you're done. That's right.
all right, okay, yeah, sure.
But if you want to expand more on that, I think
Okay,
we have
so
time
I
to
think
there.
yeah, so I think I should just okay. So when I say multiple modalities, I
Yeah.
mean now you've seen we all know about images, right?
Yes.
Computer vision
Mm.
images. So that is visual. That's a kind of visual kind of mode,
Yeah.
right? Then you have the text, the natural language texts, right? That is a different mode, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different modality. So you have multiple modalities, like you have vision, images, you have text, languages. Then you also have audio signals like speech,
Yeah.
right? You have your normal tabular data, right? So all this, so these are different kind of modalities that we are talking about.
Oh. Okay. Okay. That's
So
awesome.
and one example again, one application I can give right away is image captioning, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
image captioning is a sort of like an application that involves multiple modes, because you have both the image and you have the captions which is in text. So that's an example.
All right. But it's still one particular model doing these two things, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's really an awesome thing. So, but okay, I think that's that. But I think I really don't know. Probably you might have maybe at some point been in the job search industry for AI before. But what would be your advice for ML engineers looking for data science jobs or machine learning jobs in African countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda? What would be your advice for them?
Practice on Zindi and
Zindi. Okay.
Okagu. Yeah.
Chicago.
So
Okay.
so maybe that's too short, but
Yeah. No.
um,
Yeah. Sure.
one of it. So I mean, it's good to do all those nano degrees and
Yeah.
get certificate. And I'm not against that. I definitely agree with that. But one of the things that I mean, I've had a chance to actually recruit for a company, right? So I understand sometimes they're actually looking for what you've done,
Yeah.
right? And it's in stages, seriously, because even at my own stage like this, there are still some jobs I still know that okay, I'm not qualified for. I'm certain, right?
Yeah.
So if you actually understand that, you understand that you're an entry level in this kind of field, right? So you actually want to build your profile around that. You want to you could get a certificate, build them fine, and then practice online. I can tell you, I think it's more about practice and allow people to know that yes, because I think there's an instance there was this competition I did with a colleague of mine in that was for a conference recently, and it was on the Zine platform. And I was seeing some Nigerians on the. I mean, I think there was a couple of Nigerians. I had to ask on Twitter that, oh, who is this guy? And then I was like, oh, this is him. All right, nice, good job. Like, I mean, so let's say I was a recruiter, right? And I go on this Zini platform and I'm seeing this guy always leading in competitions and all that. Definitely, I'll be interested in this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually have a feel of what I'm saying. So
I
one
understand.
thing, yeah, practice more. There's a lot of knowledge competition on Zini. Zini has actually brought a lot of things close to us, and it's actually most of the time it's actually based on African data. You see
Yeah.
data from one lab in South Africa or a lab in Kenya or that. So I think that would be a good chance for people coming in to actually leverage their skills. Practice, practice, practice on Zindi and attempt competitions. Join a team, do collaborative projects. I think yeah, I think you will get a shot.
Also, practice. That's really the most vital thing. Practice high stakes. Practice for knowledge. Compete and make sure that you improve skills, which makes sense. So, by the way, if the viewers don't know Zindi, of course, Zindi is like Kaggle for Africa.
Yeah.
An online competition, data science competition hub for data scientists. Okay, that's good. So, but generally, if we probably have lots of data scientists and machine learning engineers who have great portfolio, great profiles on Zindi. They've done
Mhm.
amazing jobs on GitHub. But what would be your general advice when it comes to how they should prepare for interview? You said you've recruited for a company before.
Okay.
What's your general advice on how they should prepare for an interview?
So okay, yeah. So apart from having your profiles and portfolio and all that, so I think preparing for interview now would be about showing them what you've learned,
Oh,
basically, right? So so actually interviewing in machine learning is really weird at this stage now, but I think
yeah,
one of the key things, one of the fundamental things I've noticed is that people actually ask questions, fundamental questions. So
yeah,
if you're just coming to machine learning now, the first thing you know is deep learning. Oh, my friend, you need to go back to the basics,
yeah,
right? So most of these interview questions are actually about the fundamentals. Trust me, it's probably from KNN to K-means to linear regression, logistic regression. Even sometimes SVM is like not really even because of course to understand SVM is really complicated. So
yeah, exactly.
so most interviews actually don't even focus on, well, they focus on all these basics like KNN, linear regression, logistic regression, uh, there's a PCA, principal component analysis.
Yeah,
I mean, all these fundamental machine learning things that you actually do with in your first or second week in a machine learning typical course, right? So those things you should actually focus on. When I mean focus on, I mean not just like I mean understanding it very, very well so that you could
well,
explain it and yeah, prove yourself that you know what this is.
this is
So I think
awesome.
that'll be my
Awesome. Learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, and prepare for that. So, but in your own opinion, have you come across anything like some very statistical questions that has to not do not, that doesn't have to do strictly with machine learning field or important from statistics? Do you think other
okay.
questions come up like that?
Yes, 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 they do. So it's what I said. If you're in a kind of entry level positions, you should
Yeah.
focus more on the basics,
Mm.
right? So one of the although it's really so one of the problems we have right now is like recruiters just jump putting a lot of stuffs on their recruitment page and a
Yeah.
lot of requirements, right? But most of the time, I think if it's an entry level position, you should just prepare for the basics. So if you're not more going to the intermediate level, then you need to know a lot of all these modeling techniques, statistical modeling techniques,
Yeah.
right? Especially when you're applying for data science job, right? So you definitely need to understand some statistical techniques, working with time series data, which is one of the
Yeah.
most common thing they do, right? And actually understanding regression techniques very well. So those are more in-depth things when you're going to an intermediate level kind of position, right? So I think yeah, there's it. And on the machine learning side, I mean, they just want to know how you if you can code. At least that's what I know about in machine learning engineering for the intermediate level. If you can code, you understand how to debug a deep learning model or a machine learning
Yeah.
model. What happens if your loss is increasing and your training loss is increasing and text loss is decreasing? Are you overfitting? I mean, all those kind of much more details. Yeah. But
Okay.
so I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, but I think I want to pick on one particular point you made there. Of course, as a professional, I definitely know what debugging is. For our beginners, talking about debugging ML models or deep learning models, how is that different from how typical debugging in software engineering happens?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the debugging in machine learning is still a lot of work in progress, I must say. But sometimes when I mean debugging your machine learning model, it's more about looking at let's say trying to understand why your model is predicting this,
Okay.
right?
Oh.
Maybe you want to think about model interpretability or
Yeah.
explainability. That's a different thing. Uh, it could also be trying to understand your loss, like how I don't mean your loss, but I mean like your model loss, the training loss, the testing
The
loss,
performance. Yeah.
yeah, the performance. You also want to look at the codes. I mean,
Yeah.
are you using the right loss function,
Mm.
right? So I mean, it's a lot of things which I really can't get into right now. But
Into that.
I think those are some of the little things that you might want to look at when you say debugging machine learning models.
Okay, awesome, awesome. It all has to do with performance, I guess. So, which is what I think the listeners need to hear. But I think let's relax a little bit all the intense data science questions. And personally, back to you, how do you keep track of the latest happenings, latest trends, advancements in the technologies in the fields of artificial intelligence and machine learning?
One word, Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, um, it's so I make sure I follow a lot of people. I mean, I love their works, right?
Yeah.
Because those are available on Twitter. So most of the time they actually tweet things. I also follow labs, like all these big labs, like um, Nila Vector Institute. I mean, all these labs that are doing amazing works in machine learning AI. So I follow them, and once they are bringing out something interesting, I also look good to check it. So that is how I keep track. And a lot of people actually retweet papers that they found interesting,
Yeah.
right? So apart from Twitter, also I also keeping track would also be within the Reddit community.
Reddit community, exactly.
Yeah, Reddit is a very weird place, I must say, but it,
Yeah.
there's a lot of information that is being passed across. And also, there is this tool, papers with code. So papers with
Yeah,
code
because of
actually,
code.
so I kind of like see what is the trending state of the art models in different fields. So that's how I keep track. I would personally say I don't read all these archive papers. I definitely don't. It's only one. If there is one that is very, 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 very interesting that has passed through the test of time,
Yeah.
then I can now go and read it. So yeah, so I think that's how I keep my sanity in this machine learning.
Also, I love the last phrase, how you keep your sanity, because definitely archives with a lot of influx of papers daily,
Yeah,
weekly on
yeah,
archives, it's going to be hard to keep track of the most important and ones. And so, for as listeners, definitely you can follow Jerry on Twitter, Mr. Jeremiah on Twitter, and follow those people with follows, of course, just to make sure that you're in the right feed. Yeah, of course, you're in the right Twitter feed and following the right persons and so on. But we will link to his Twitter handle in the show notes, so you can check that out after the podcast. So, but Mr. Jerry, finally, we usually ask a typical question once again from our audience in its Insight in AI and Data Science program, and this is actually targeted towards beginners. So, what is the
okay.
one golden advice you would give to beginners looking to become, world-class machine learning engineers and problem solvers? What's that one golden advice? It could be one word, one sentence. Just keep it short.
Oh, now I have to think. Golden advice. I would say just be passionate and be practical.
Mm,
That's it.
passionate and practical. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that really wraps up an amazing conversation with you, Mr. Jerry. Thank you so much for joining us and giving your amazing insights and knowledge to our viewers today. And
Thanks.
you can catch Mr. Jerry in our he will have a recorded session of his a session on classification on our YouTube channel. So you can visit our YouTube channel, links in the show notes, and you're going to learn more from him. Of course, you can also follow him on Twitter. Ask him the questions you want to ask him, and any other thing. Mr. Jerry, do you want any? Is there any other thing you want our listeners to know before
Yeah.
we?
So I think I'm glad that you have this kind of community. My
Yeah,
advice would just be to keep it up and try to solve amazing things with
yeah.
technologies and better yourselves. And the future is bright.
All right, the future is bright. An amazing note to end this conversation. Thank you so much to you, Mr. Jerry. Thank you so
Thank
much, viewers, for listeners, for tuning into the podcast today. And thank you, everyone. I wish you good luck. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Yep. Bye.
Yeah.